Good morning from Launceston. I'm doing a tour, or the tour bus should be here in about 20 minutes, and we're going to go all the way up to Cradle Mountain, which is 2 hours away from here. And it's west of the island. Along the way, there's a few other stops. It's a chilly morning. Launceston is cold. So if you come out to Launceston, rug up. As you can see, I've got my scarves and I've got my jackets. So you got to make sure that you've got enough attire to keep you warm. We are in Sheffield, about 1 hour northwest of Launceston. And can we all see that in the background? Mount Roland, very big rock that is in the background of this small town. Interesting place here, Sheffield. There's a lot of murals on the walls. They're everywhere. There's a few across the road. Even the chapel has got a mural on there as well. So it's the town of murals. It's really nice. I'm on the main strip now. This is it. This is the main high road here in Sheffield. Historical buildings. It really does feel like you've stepped back in time. Tasmania really is such a beautiful place. Beautiful small country towns, an amazing countryside all the way up here with dairy farmers and berry growers on either side. So this place has gone through a bit of transformation as well. In the old days, it was all about mining, logging, farming, but they've also transitioned into tourism these days. Some more murals. There we go. And there's one over here as well. Yeah, they just seem to be on every corner. Another beautiful mural in the background depicting the old days. Bit of ballroom dancing maybe. Time to grab a coffee. You've got my number. It's actually a good little coffee shop here. You can see all of the main strip behind me. Look at that. It's all there. We'll be taking off from here in Sheffield in about 10 minutes, and we hope to be in Cradle Mountain in about 1 hour from now. So far, so good. This tour cost me $170. It's a 10-hour day trip up to Cradle Mountain. It includes lunch and entry into the national parks as well, which obviously incurs a cost here in Tasmania. All the parks are protected. Coach behind me, very nice coach, very comfortable, great day out. It's definitely cheaper to do a tour and probably better than driving up there yourself. If you want to drive up there, you can also do that. You can hire a car and then you can stay up at Cradle Mountain, or at least near Cradle Mountain as well. I am only doing a day trip. We wave goodbye to the town of murals as we continue our journey towards Cradle Mountain. The breathtaking views of Mount Roland, rising 1,200 metres above sea level, along with the picturesque farmland, keep me captivated along the way. Rightio, we're at the visitor centre here, which is just behind me. This visitor centre is near Cradle Mountain. Quite chilly up here. I'd say there's at least a 8 to 10 degree temperature drop back from Sheffield to here. A lot of cars in the car park, a lot of people coming up to Cradle Mountain. We've had a brief stop because we got to change bus. So we came here on a big coach, but you're not allowed up to the mountain on the big coach. So we're catching a smaller bus to go up there. Very green up here, a lot of vegetation, a lot of dead trees as well along the way. Not allowed to touch them, not allowed to go near those trees. They become habitats for the animals. It's important to recognize the indigenous people that once lived in this area. The Palawa people used to roam the areas
around Tasmania, and they have been here for tens of thousands of years. And in this particular area, it's the Pakana people. So they've been here for over 50,000 years. Look at that. Always fascinating to see how long humankind has been in these areas. As you know, European settlement came later on. Earlier on, it was the indigenous people that once roamed these areas and had their livelihoods here for tens of thousands of years.
Soon after, we board a small shuttle bus and head up towards Cradle Mountain. Upon arrival, our tour guide gives us a quick briefing on the mountain's do and don'ts, and then we're free to explore at our own pace. From the moment you step into the park, you're instantly struck by the sheer beauty of the place. It feels like walking straight into a grand, life-sized painting, complete with intricate detail and stunning natural beauty.
Cradle Mountain isn't just a destination, it's a masterpiece that's been carved from the wilderness, from the rock, the stone, and everything around it. Have a look at this. Towering, jagged peaks reflect in the glassy waters of the Dove Lake, while the shrubs and the grassland decorate the perimeters of the area that we can see right behind me. Welcome to adventure country. This is where the rugged tracks take you on the journey around Cradle Mountain. You can do a number of hikes. Some of them go for kilometers. The biggest one on the overland track goes for about 85 kilometers. I'm opting to go to the boat shed, which is not too far, about 20 minutes up and 20 minutes back as my first hike. And along the way, we'll look for the wombats that live amongst this dense shrubland. Whether you're scaling the summits or soaking in the views, Cradle Mountain doesn't disappoint. It's for everybody. You don't necessarily need to go out on these tracks and go out into the wilderness. There's a viewing area right over there. You can spend your time there taking in the views, but I prefer to go on the trail and see what lies ahead. I must admit, after our stop in Sheffield, I've acclimatized and it's not too cold. Well, at least it doesn't feel too cold. A few of the guys checked the temperature in the bus earlier and it was about 3 degrees. So maybe feels like 1 or 2. But we've acclimatized. We're about 900 meters above sea level. I think the actual Cradle Mountain is about 1,500 meters high or thereabouts. The walk to the boat shed is quite easy. A little bit of up and down, but not too bad. But once again, assess your own fitness levels before you do so. I'm looking forward to having my lunch near the boat shed. There's the boat shed right there at the tip of my finger. We're extremely lucky today to have great weather and the peaks are visible. Generally they're not. So the guide did say that about 60 days in a year the peaks are visible. So the weather is good for about 60 days of the year, and we've been blessed enough to capture one of those 60 days. The peaks look stunning. Look at that. You know, a lot of people talk about the beauty of walking through Argentina and the different hikes you can do through there, but I must say this is beautiful as well. Going to Mount Fitzroy in Argentina would be amazing, and it would be a big deal for me. But you know what? This is also very beautiful here in the Australian landscape. Take another look at those two peaks. Look at that. That's the cradle there, and the baby lies in the middle. So the theory and the legend says. So I've reached the boat shed. right behind me, there it is. Finally got here. The peaks are just over here, to my right, your left. So a little bit of history about this place. Gustav Weindorfer was an Austrian pioneer that came out to Australia in the late 1800s, could be the early 1900s as well, and actually came up here onto Cradle Mountain and purchased many hundreds of acres of land and actually built a chalet up here and spent a lot of time up here. And thanks to him, he'd purchased a lot of land up here, hundreds of hectares, and that land has been transformed into national parks now, and we can now go ahead and enjoy the tourism aspect of what it has to offer. Time for lunch. I'm looking for wombats. They said on a day like this, the wombats should be out because the weather is a bit crisp. Cool, in other words. So, you gotta keep an eye out for the wombats amongst the shrubs. I haven't seen any yet. Can't see any wombats. Just to touch on how to get here again, I've undertaken a special tour today for approximately $170 Australian. That takes you here. They give you lunch, everything inclusive, including the national park entry fee. You can drive up here as well. You can hire a car and come up to the stop where we were before. But I'd say from there you'll need to catch a little minibus that will bring you up here, because you're not allowed to drive in here. And that's what deterred me from hiring a car and coming here. So either way, you're gonna have to board a little minibus somewhere, possibly down where we transferred to a smaller minibus, and then you come up here. So keep that in mind if you've hired a car and you're hoping to come up here in the comfort of your own hire car. Look at these views, amazing. Where can you get these views in the world? A lot of pebbles here. I feel like I'm at the beach, the seaside. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging in order to motivate people to come here. Even though I'm wordsmithing my words, even though I've got this expensive camera that captures the beauty of this place, you cannot beat coming here in the flesh and breathing the air and seeing your surrounds firsthand. It's an absolute masterpiece. I've spent a bit of time walking around the lake now. It's impossible to scale the lake in the time that we have here on our tour, but I have been spending time at these little coves whenever I have a chance along the track that I've taken, and it's definitely a masterpiece. I'd love to come back here one day and spend more time here, but you know what? For now, this is a great introduction. Here I am, bringing this to your screens, to your devices, and if you're in Tasmania or you're coming to Australia, why not come and grab some of these views? I love it when the wind blows here. There's this gentle whisper that comes through the shrubs, thanking you that you've come here. I don't know what else it could be, but whatever it is, I'll try and get to the bottom of it.
My next stop is the main viewing area, located at the point of entry. The building itself is modern and cleverly designed to blend seamlessly into the surrounding landscape. Inside, it's refreshingly cool and offers prime views of the lake, an ideal spot to pause and take it all in.
In here, is a resting area, a viewing point where you can come and sit if you prefer not to be out there. I know it can be tough for some people who are trekking, but you can sit in here, have your lunch, look at the histogram that's on the wall about the evolution of Cradle Mountain and what's happened over the years. On the walls, there's also information about the indigenous peoples that once lived in these areas, especially in and around Cradle Mountain. So this is a great spot if you're a bit tired or you can't go out there and walk too far on the tracks. Even though the tracks aren't too challenging, it could be a bit challenging for the elderly, so you need to assess your own fitness level. So you can come and sit in here and enjoy the views from here. The views are still pretty good.
We then make our way to a different section of the mountain to visit Gustav Weindorfer's Chalet. Gustav, a passionate botanist, lodgekeeper, and early conservationist, championed the preservation of Cradle Mountain as far back as the 1800s.
We've arrived at Gustav's Chalet. This is where he went in hiding for so many years, living up here, up on Cradle Mountain. He was here particularly after his wife died. He stayed up here, bit of a recluse they say, and then when his wife passed away, he stayed here because the war started, and because he was Austrian, he was treated as a bit of a spy, even though he wasn't. So he preferred the quiet life up here on top of Cradle Mountain, but his close friends would always go and visit him, and it's been documented to say that 6 of his friends had come up here and stayed with him once upon a time. Must have got pretty cold up there because it's freezing here.
Very friendly. He's posing for you.
Here are some wallabies, some wildlife here in Cradle Mountain. These are wallabies. These are a little bit smaller than a kangaroo. If you come up here, don't walk on the grass because it's littered with wombat and wallaby droppings. They're everywhere. Watch where you step.
Following the chalet visit, I set off on the Enchanted Forest Walk. Wandering around centuries-old trees draped in moss feels like stepping into a Disney fairy tale. I half expected a pixie or a magical creature to cross my path. Spoiler, they didn't. To wrap up the day, we make a final stop at the Ashgrove Dairy Door, a well-known local dairy farm that welcomes visitors. As a devoted dairy lover, I'm thrilled we included this on the itinerary. It's perfect.
We were fortunate enough to have some time left over to stop at the Ashgrove Dairy Door. I got my ice cream, really good. Can really taste the difference. Fresh milk from the cows on probably the most beautiful and cleanest pastures in the world. This is the big factory behind me. They got a section where they sell things, cheese, cheesecakes, ice creams, honey, and pretty soon we'll be heading back into Launceston. And that wraps up the day. Not a bad tour.
We've reached the end of the trip, and I hope you've enjoyed the tour of my beautiful homeland of Australia. I've got plenty more Aussie adventures lined up in my playlist, so don't forget to watch those videos also. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and a subscribe, and as always, a big adios from your friend the Hustmeister.